Welcome back to the second part of my tutorial. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to press escape and let's save this program or this game. Let's go to save as, and I'm going to save that straight into the asset. Make sure it's saved right inside the asset, and in there I'm just going to call it maybe mini FPS and save that. There, that's saved. Okay, so what we now do is start work on some codes. But before I continue with this coding part of it, I'm going to add a gun because I'm going to need a gun. So let's come in here. You can get that in your asset store, Unity asset store. I'm just going to add that. My gun is in place. Now let's come in here, select this gun. Let's go to the material. Okay, we need a model of that very gun. Right, there's the gun right there. You come down here, grab this gun and just drop it here somewhere. Yeah, maybe there. Okay, now let's find a way to position that very gun. Let's grab it, and you have to move it straight inside my first person here. Then let's try and position it properly. Okay, and the size of that gun, well, let's just see. Let's find a way to position it properly first. Grab the main camera so that I can see what I'm doing. That is the gun. So I'm going to change this to maybe about, let's go for 0.12, and maybe this we can just say 1.1. I'm just going to make this about, let's say minus something. Minus, yeah, I'm beginning to see my gun. Look at it. Minus 1 point, maybe 6.7, and this one maybe we should change it a little bit more. Yeah. Let's come in here. This gun seems to be a little bit too big. I'm going to make it 0.04, 0.04, 0.04. Yeah, let's try that. There we go. Now I have my gun. Let's move it a little bit to the right. Yeah, tiny bit to the left. Okay, that looks like it's all right. Okay, so let's see. Let's run it and see how that's gonna look like. Yeah, that's not too bad. Yeah, where are the bad guys? Right, that's good. I think I like it. I'm going to add let's add a crosshair to it. So I'm going to come up here and let's go to UI. Inside UI I'm going to select image right there. The image is giving me 100, so let's change that to 10 by 10 there. Okay, I'm going to get it centered 0, 0 and 0, and let's see, that is it right there. This the white square there. Okay, let's come in here and select material. I prefer the ring one. Let's come in here and look for the ring. That's for flash. Yeah, I don't mind that flash. It looks a bit alright. Or maybe let's set for this one, flash 3. That's the flash 3 there. You can see it there. Maybe we should increase it to about 20 then. It looks a little bit too small. Alright, that is it. Width and height is 20, so let's run it and see how that's gonna look like. There we go. So move my gun around. You see that, guys? Yeah, that's fine. You see the invisible space in between this crosshair and this, that is the, and the gun is the Raycast. So I'm gonna end it for now. I just come in here and have a good look at it. Alright, so that is fine for now. And this gun as well, let's add a rigid body to the gun. Let's see if there's a gun. If there's a rigid body on it. There's no rigid body, so we just added a rigid body on it. Type in R. Okay, then that is fine. Okay guys, so let's continue. But what the console here is telling me there are two audio listeners in the scene. Please ensure there's always exactly one audio listener. So in here I know quite well there's one in first person shooter, there's an audio listener there, and in here let's see the main camera. I also have one in the main camera. You see the one on the first person shooter? I'm gonna get rid of that, so let's come right in here, drop it down and just click on remove components there. So that should take care of that. So let me try it out and see. Okay, that's fine. The audio listener warning is gone. So I'm going to now continue. I'm going to come in here. First and first, let me create a folder for my script. So let's just, oh, that's the script anyway that I've selected. I'm just going to call it gun. Okay, that's the script. However, I'm going to need a folder for it. Let's come right down here and just create a folder for that script. There we go. I'm just going to enter a script in there. Okay, so drag my gun script straight into the folder called script. There, I can now open up that various folder. Select my script, the gun script, click on open. Alright, first of all, I'm going to declare a variable in here, and I'll call that a public variable. So right there, let's say public float. I will call that enemy destroyer, and I'm going to set the value of that to about 12 for, that will be my default enemy destroyer damage I'm going to be using for now. We also need to declare another public variable, and that is going to be something to do with the radius that we're going to cover. So let's just call that radius. So that'll be radius. So I'm going to make the radius approximately, because of the size of my plane, I'm going to make that, let's go for about 150. Okay, and let's enter a semicolon there. Okay, in order for me to be able to use my gun, I'm going to need some input from the player, and right here there's a default function there. So I think it's right here, project setting, and right here inputs. Then we drop the axis down, we have fire one. That is the function that I'm going to be using. So let's go back to my code, and right here what I'm going to enter is as follows. I'm going to use an if statement. If input dot get button down. Okay, and what function am I looking for? Is going to be fire one. Okay, that's one of the default function set by Unity for us to be able to shoot or use our guns. Okay, you see with the fire one itself, that is for the left hand button, and fire two, that's for the right hand button. depend on what trigger you would like to use. Okay, now let's continue anyway. Okay, right here I'm going to create a function underneath here before I continue. I'll call that void, and that is going to be known as gun shot. So inside this my gunshot, I will have a raycast hit. Okay, and let's give it a name. So that will be, I think I'm going to call that target. Okay, and this very raycast hit, I should be able to call that inside my if statement here. Let's paste that in there, enter semicolon. Okay, to be able to shoot my gun, I actually need a raycast. So the raycast is the invisible line between the gun and, let me show it to you guys, between the gun and the, okay, let's run it and you see what I'm talking about. Between the gun and the crosshair, that's the raycast. Okay, just the invisible line. Okay, so I'm gonna go back here. That's it, that's the invisible line, that's my raycast. So I'm gonna end it. So what I'll then do is, to be able to shoot out that gun, I'm going to use the camera. So here I'll just enter another variable, public, and that will be camera focus. Okay, let's just call it camera focus. I'm gonna copy that, paste that here. Yeah, that's my variable there, and this is very camera focus. So I'm gonna come right down here and enter physics. Dot raycast, that is it, open a bracket, and we then call our camera focus here. There we go. So this should be able to shoot it in the direction we're facing, but to do that I'm going to say dot transform dot position, comma, camera focus dot transform again, and that is going to be dot forward. So for me to be able to gather all the information required, I'm going to say, okay, let's gather some information, and whatever information we gathered here, we want to put that inside this target variable. So I'm going to enter a comma there and just say out there. Let's enter a semicolon here. To be able to make it, and just to be able to eat any object that is within these, I'm going to enter my radius here. But any object further than that, we won't be able to hit that. However, to be able to validate if we actually eat something, what I'm going to do is I might as well just use an if statement here, and here let's just enter curly braces there, and we then use the, okay, before we go any further, we have to find out a way to apply damage to the create object. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to create a new script. So in there, make sure it is selected, and this gun, actually, let's see, this one should be attached to the gun. Yeah, it is attached to the gun. So let's select create, and the wooden crate, let's create a new object here, a new script. So I'm just going to give that a name. I'm going to call it shot fired. Okay, there. Okay, I will now select a script, and that is, let's click on, where is it? That's going to be Create. Okay, Create shot fired is coming up, and there we go. Now, okay, I'm going to need some variable here, so but first of all, let's get rid of these. So in there I'm going to say public. We can use live. Okay, let's say float live variable. So that's going to be, let's make that about, I can make that 50. Then the next thing is I'm going to now create my own public. Let's say public void, and let's just call that damage impact. And that damage impact is going to take in some argument, so I'm going to just enter float. So I'm going to call that the argument extent of damage. Let's say of damage there, and let's enter curly braces there. Now let's say life. Okay, we have to delete the extent of damage from life. So life equals minus, or minus equals the extent of damage, and let's then use an if statement. If life is then equals to 0, then we expect this object to become invalid. So invalid is not there, so I'm going to have to create another one, create a function known as invalid. So let's come right underneath here. Just going to copy that and come right down here and just say void invalid there. Okay, we need a column here. Right, so for the invalid, all we just need to say is destroy objects game, or game object. Destroy game object, and that's all there is to that. Okay, I might as well be able to call the other crate, the chattered crate. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to create another public variable here, and let's just say public, and I'll call that game object. And this very game object, I'm going to give it a name. I'll call it enemy down. Yeah, that's good enough for me. So that's the game object I will insert my shattered box in there. So let's come right underneath here. So I'm going to now say void on mouse. Let's go for on mouse down. Yeah, on mouse down, I want the following to happen. Well, first of all, I'll call it in. I will first of all instantiate this. Instantiate enemy down to paste that comma, and I'm going to say transform dot position comma transform dot rotate. There. And let's enter semicolon there. Then the next thing is, let's just say destroy object. Destroy game object. There we go. I think that should do it. So let's save this. I will now call this inside the gun there, but first thing first, let's go back to my project here and just come right down here. I will select my create and there. So let's scroll right down, and that is it, enemy down. So we will now add the wooden crate crowd. Just drop that in there, drag it and drop it in there. So that is taken care of. Now let's take care of the other, as the gun script. Okay, let's open up the gun script. Okay, with my gun script opened, the first thing I like to do is I need to declare some more public variable here. So I'm going to just copy this, paste it right there. So it's going to be public. Let's just call that this figure, more or less like damage. This figure, and let's say that is going to be about 50. Okay, the damage it causes, and we also need another public variable. I'm going to call that damage force. Okay, that's the force of damage. Now let's make that about, so we go for maybe 50 as well. And finally I'm going to declare another one. Let's just call that public game object, and that game object I'm just going to call that particle effects. There. So that will be for my particle effect. Now let's come right inside this if statement, if you guys can still recall, right here. Okay, so inside this if statement, what we want the system to now do is, let's say this file called shot fired, and shot fire, let's create a variable called shooting, and this shooting equals the target. I'm actually referring to this target, and this very target dot transform dot position, paste that in there, dot transform dot gets, that will be dot gets components. And what component are we going to get? We're going to get this shot fire component. There we go, and we enter parentheses here. There. Now let's use an if statement to determine what's going on here now. So let's say if shot fired is not, so we say if shooting, this very one, if shooting is not null value, enter curly bracket, then we're going to say shooting dot damage impact, and that will be this figure. There we go. Okay, so let's enter semicolon, then get rid of this. It's causing problem for us. Yeah. Okay, then now The next thing we want to do now is, since we've checked if it is the shooting or not the shooting, so we now want to check that of the target as well. So let's say if target, so I'm now addressing the target up here. If the target dot rigid body is not equal to null, then come right down here. Then we're going to say target dot rigid body. We need to add some force to that, so come in here, paste that there. Target dot rigid body dot add force, and that is going to be minus target dot normal, and let's multiply that by the damage force, and enter column in there. So right underneath here now, let's try to destroy. We need to be able to destroy the excess object that we're going to end up having. Okay, let's just get rid of this error first there, and I'm going to save it, and then we'll come back and take care of that. Let's run it and see how it's going to look like before I take care of these objects. Right, where is it? It can come out. There we go. So I'm going to run it. I just want you to be able to chart out the, I should have added some. Okay, let's just run it. That's my box there, if you guys can still recall the box I added earlier on. So I'm going to shoot that box. I expect it to shatter into pieces. There we go, guys, look at that. Yeah, that's supposed to be one of the corona boxes destroyed. Okay, that's good, it's working as expected. But the other thing that is missing in there is, if I come in here now and select my gun, I was meant to enter some effect into that. Okay, I have this, I have this, I have this. Okay, I expect this to do something which is not doing what I want it to do. And let's go in here, where's the, okay, let's come in here and check that as well. Okay, that is fine. Okay, let's go back in here, and right underneath here I'm going to enter the following. So let's say GameObject. We would like that to clear. What did I call it? I think I call it clear object. So clear object. Right. Okay, clear object. That's what I'm going to call it. Equals. We'd like it to instantiate my particle effect, comma, target dot point, comma, and here I'm going to use a quaternium. So let's say quaternium. There we go. Dot look rotation, yeah, and I'm going to say comma target dot normal. Yeah, I think that should do it. Now the next thing is, we just say destroy clear object. So hopefully we should be able to see this. I'll make that 2F. We should be able to see the particle now, hopefully. There we go. And I'm gonna save that. So let's run it and see how that's gonna look like. Okay, click on it again. There we go. So come right down here, and we need to, let's move towards our gun, towards the box, and move towards it. I expect the particle to explode with the shattered box. There we go, guys. Look at that. Yeah, that's not too bad. That's good. Okay, that's good. So what I'm going to do now is to just add sound, maybe add more boxes. Okay, let's come in here, close that. So when this box open up, where is the box? Right here. Okay, let's add sound to this. So I'm going to come right down here. Let's select the wooden crate, and I think it should work this way. Let's say audio source. Yeah, there we go. Let's drop it down, and I'm going to look for sound. I think I have some sound on my system. Let's look for them on my own system here. Collapse all of this. I'm going to get those sound, just add it on board. Okay, let's add my sound. Let's come in here. I have one, and I'm going to get the large explosion as well, this very one, and drag that. Just hold on first. I want it in here, inside my asset. Okay, drag and drop it in here. There we go. So we can close that now. I'm going to come back in here. Right in here I have my sound source, so we want it to be large explosion. There we go. Let's try that out, and then let's see. Right here, come in here. You hear that, guys? That's very good. So I'm going to add more. Boxes. So what about the trigger? Let's see if we can add one to this, the gun as well. Let's come in here and add another audio, and that one is going to be just for the trigger. Drag this and drop it right in here. So I expect that. Is he on awake? Get rid of that. Now let's see if it's going to work. Alright, come right down here and let's give that another shot and see. Move closer, and the gun seems to be too slow. The first person seems to be too slow. I'm going to have to increase the speed. Yeah, that's nice. I think I need to actually enable the on trigger awake. Make sure the gun is selected. I'm going to come back here and just play on awake. But let's see what's going to happen with the play on awake. Nope, I don't want that. So I want it to actually play when I shoot. So I'm going to get rid of the play on awake. Okay, come back in here and just get rid of that. That's fine. Okay, now the next thing we want to do is let's move into where we have all these boxes, the box itself, and I'm going to add a couple more. Where is the box? Right here. There we go. So I will now right click, create a duplicate, just move that to one side. Those are supposed to be the corona box at the neighborhood, so we just need to get rid of them to keep the neighborhood safe. So maybe one more, and there we go. Add another one here in the middle of the road. How dare you? So there. Yeah, just before we try it out now, let's increase the speed of the first person and we can then try it out. Select the first person controller and come right here. Instead of 5, I'm just going to make that 10, just to increase it a little bit and leave this as maybe 20. And there, I'm going to save that. So let's run our program now. And there we go, guys. So let's try that out. So let's move nearer to the box. As expected, the explosion and the box they get shattered. Right here. Nice, guys. All the coronavirus taken care of. So with that, guys, I'm going to call it the end of this beautiful tutorial. I suppose you guys enjoy it, and please do subscribe. You can also join to become a member of my channel. Bye for now.